Well, hey Ben. Hey, it's great to have you on the In Sync show. Would you mind tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
Yeah, thanks, Cory. A pleasure to be on, and I appreciate the opportunity. I serve as Vice President of Marketing at ConverseNow. ConverseNow is an artificial intelligence company that provides voice AI to quick service restaurants. So our virtual ordering assistants handle phone orders, drive-through orders, anything where a team member would normally have to take time out of their very busy day to handle an influx of high volume orders. We automate that process, and it allows severely understaffed restaurants to be able to operate under, of course, the current circumstances within the labor shortage. And for those who are thinking voice AI and you think to the incredibly frustrating phone calls that you've had with customer service, I'm very happy to say that we're in a league of our own. It can barely even be mentioned in the same sentence as that kind of stuff. The technology has come a very long way. We're excited for a lot of restaurants to be adopting this kind of technology and to really be paving the way there. But we can save that for a later time. Suffice it to say, ConverseNow serves restaurants across the country, and we are just very glad to be supporting the hospitality industry as it continues to adopt automation into its everyday operations. And I am tuning in from San Diego, California. We live just, probably like 20, 30-minute drive from each other, I think.
Yes, we do, and it's I hate to say it, it's just this weather. I wish weather was a little bit better here today for us, but hey, I guess we're gonna have to grin and bear it, right?
Well, yeah, here in Carmel Valley, it is about 80 degrees right now, so I can't complain.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, that's definitely a blessing here that we have to muscle through. So,
absolutely.
Well, wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that. You touched on quickly regarding the challenges. So, what are some of the biggest challenges that are facing the industry right now in terms of restaurants?
Yeah, the restaurant industry is facing somewhat of a perfect storm when it comes to challenges. So on one end, you have the labor shortage. That's what's streaking across the headlines right now, as well as the Great Resignation, as they're coining it. So restaurants are having a really hard time staffing. They're having a really hard time hiring people. And you have a lot of restaurants who are operating, with far fewer staff members than is otherwise sustainable to lead a very high touch business. At the same time, you have inflation that's taking place. So, and this supply chain crisis that's going on. So restaurants are having a really hard time getting supplies. They're having a hard time getting food. They're having a hard time getting cleaning products. They're having a hard time getting their equipment repaired. And at the same time, everything is just more expensive because of inflation. And you compound that with an incredible surge in demand. So with pandemic restrictions being lifted, you have people who just want to go out again. They want to dine. They're sick of cooking at home, and they just want to, engage in the restaurant experience. So you have the demand they've been looking for so long, but now they're not equipped with the resources that they need in order to meet that demand. So it's creating problems in three areas. But problem number one is with the guest experience. So guests are having a hard time, for example, with long wait times, poor service, calling a Domino's pizza on Friday at 6 p.m. only to have a busy signal, endlessly. Right. So, go to In-N-Out and see that the line is wrapped around the block 3 times. So that's really difficult. On the team member end, you have people who are working in restaurants that are understaffed and they're doing 3 jobs at once. And it's leading to an incredibly high stress environment that's only perpetuating this Great Resignation. People don't want to work in that environment. They're not staying in their jobs for very long. And then you've got problems for the owner-operator side. They're having a hard time finding people, and they're having a hard time staying open and staying profitable, in an already low margin industry with these rising costs and these labor challenges. So you've really got this perfect storm in this 3-pronged hydra of setbacks that the restaurants are facing.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally completely agree with you on that. It's an interesting dynamic right now. However, it's great to see a lot of companies that are meeting these challenges head on. And my next question for you would be, how do you see technology helping solve some of these challenges?
Absolutely. Technology really is the miracle pill that restaurants need in these circumstances. And it's not necessarily just getting restaurants through the pandemic or getting restaurants through the labor shortage. There will inevitably be an end and some sort of equilibrium that will be reached. But what technology and specifically automation will do for restaurants is that it will allow them to emerge stronger than ever. And those restaurants that are pursuing more automation in their operations are the ones who are going to be leagues ahead of their competitors as this equilibrium is reached. So we're seeing that a lot of these jobs just don't want to be filled. People aren't taking them. There's long been this stigma of technology taking jobs, but look, you go to any restaurant across the country right now, and you're going to see a help wanted sign. So
right.
What automation is doing is it's filling the gaps that manual labor is no longer willing to fill. So it will take Domino's Pizza. It's a client that ConverseNow works with. You'll have situations where, I was just meeting with one of our franchise partners last week, and they had to restrict their hours. They couldn't open stores at times because at a certain time you would have one person in the store that's supposed to have, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. And if they're on the phone taking an order, there will be a pizza that is in an oven that has a conveyor belt. Someone has to take that pizza out of the oven. And there are literally times where if you're on the phone taking an order, a pizza can actually drop to the floor and it's a mess and you've got to clean it up. And that's right. A food cost, and you need help. And by automating a process like taking orders, for example, it's picking up slack that simply needs to be handled at this stage. So I think that the market has spoken, and that if people don't want to fill these jobs, someone's got to do the work. And being able to employ, a virtual ordering assistant is something that's going to be that helping hand, that lifeline that restaurants need. So, we handle one aspect of automation, but I really think that automation is going to be a very critical driver in restaurants, and that balance needs to be towed very delicately, because hospitality is an extremely high touch industry. Both of us have dedicated our lives to it. Prior to ConverseNow, I was with MGM Resorts and Carnival Corporation. And then I founded my own company, Taste Pro, that was dedicated to self-guided food tours. And I've, as a guest myself, and, just in my blood, I am always looking for that high touch experience. So being able to enhance the guest experience with automation is another way that restaurants really have to go about this, and that there is truly a balance that needs to be struck between, okay, how do we make guests happy by meeting their demands, while at the same time giving them that personable experience that comes with hospitality. And I think that you have more and more technology companies that are designing their experience around the guest rather than around the bottom line. And that's what I'm really excited to see moving forward.
Yeah, I think you're so right about that, because there has been some pushback where I've seen some hotels, and I think even in Asia, they tried to go to a robot type touch point. And I think it would just a little bit more too techy for a lot of people. And I love these elements of technology picking up slack where it's what the guest is wanting. They're able to order, they're able to control that process rather than it not necessarily being a nice organic touch point, so to speak. So, this is actually a great segue, and I wanted to ask you another question. technology's changed our lives so quickly, so fast and so dramatically. Share with me what a restaurant experience might feel like or might look like in just say 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, things are moving at breakneck speed, and I think that the word unprecedented times has been quite overused since March 2020. We truly, while no one can, of course, paint a truly accurate picture of what it will look like, if I was to think about it and make that prediction, I think that it's always going to depend on the type of experience that you're going for. So if you're going out to a high-end full-service restaurant, or you're staying at a Fairmont hotel, I think that experience is going to remain very largely people-driven, where you're paying that premium for that high-touch experience. But as you move into more, I guess, mainstream and more economical experiences, we'll take QSR, for example, quick service restaurants, you're going to have a lot more automation simply because those positions need to be filled, and you're just not seeing the demand for it. I don't think that there's going to be a magic on switch where all of a sudden there's going to be an influx of more restaurant workers. I think that automation is very much here to stay, but that experience is going to be much more enjoyable for guests as the technology becomes more advanced and that people just become more accustomed to it, right? This is just a shift in how things work, in the same way that, look, everyone has a smartphone right now, right? It took some getting used to the idea of checking your email, at any given moment, but now it's something that we can't really live without. So I think that 2 to 3 years from now, all of the same elevated hospitality experiences are going to be, I think, relatively similar. I think that they'll be very enjoyable. You'll continue to pay a premium for it. But for those experiences where it's about value versus luxury, I would say that there's going to be a lot more interaction with technology, and that interaction will be a lot more personable than it currently is. I think that the idea of walking in and like your entire experience being based on a tablet might very much be there, but that tablet experience will be enjoyable and interactive, and you'll be able to customize your orders and have your voice be heard in a way that's typically only reserved for human interaction. So I'm seeing technology slowly but surely evolve toward that, and that we're going to be in a very good place. Not even just a couple of years from now, with ConverseNow, it's like a couple months from now. I think there's an opportunity to make things really fun as well. We have a lot of projects in the hopper. We can disclose at a later date, but I think that what technology will do 2 to 3 years from now is give you an experience that you actually couldn't possibly have otherwise. And then it's going to open the window to a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to see.
That's all. And I had one idea. In fact, I did a quick browse through. I ran through your video tutorial. I was checking out Becky, and how close or could there be a situation where I ordered my food and it recognized that my buying pattern, and maybe to a certain degree that they even knew that I had a daughter, and they would said, well, Cory, we, X, Y, and Z, we just had this new shake on our menu. Could you imagine your daughter Reese, if you came home with this shake, and how much she would really appreciate? Could you see something so high level touch like that, so personalized, or is that too much technology? Does that seem a little borderline-ish? Because I can see the incredible upsell opportunities from that standpoint.
Well, it's really interesting that you bring that up, Cory, because we already have that. That is already there. So for those who opt in, it depends on the restaurant you're talking to. So the names of the people that you speak with at Domino's are George and Becky. Right. It will be Maggie at Blake's Lotaburger, and it will continue to be customized on the brand. But it will remember who you are. If you're getting a pizza delivered to you, it will remember your address. It'll remember your previous order. You can save orders as your favorite orders. so that if you're a regular and you get the same medium pepperoni pizza, bread twists, chicken wings, and a 2-liter soda every Friday for game night, then do you want to go with your favorite? Yes, that conversation takes a matter of seconds and you're done. In the case of that dynamic upsell, that's actually something that we already have programmed in our system. So if the restaurant has a new seasonal item that they want to promote, that will go quite well with it. So talking about, a great new shake, for example, if you're talking to a burger place, if you're ordering a burger and fries, then yes, it'll upsell you on that shake. If you've already ordered another shake, it's not going to upsell you on the shake because you've already gotten something in that category.
Right.
It'll offer you a soda or, a premium topping or something else that will complement your order. So it really does. It's in a very interesting place where it does process. Okay, here's what you're getting. Here's what would go well with it, and really being able to enhance the experience in that way.
Nice, love it. That's great. I'd love to hear. Do you have a little secret sauce, maybe a little piece of news or something, maybe a little known fact that people that watch this video probably don't know? We have so much coming down the pipeline that I'm so excited to talk about when that time comes. As far as just, there's nothing secret I can necessarily unveil. There's a lot under wraps. You will be one of the first to know when we do have some great stuff to share. But what I will say is that we processed more than 12 million conversations in 2021, and that's increasing at an exponential rate. So with quite literally millions of conversations coming in every month, the AI is just continuing to evolve and learn every single day. It's just creating that enhanced process where, not talking about years from now, but months from now, we're looking at just this incredibly seamless, really enjoyable experience for guests. We're onboarding a lot of great new restaurant partners. These are huge national and international brands that I'm sure that you have heard of and experienced many times. And we're just really excited to, be in front of millions of guests every single day. And look, every big QSR brand is looking to adopt this technology. It is very much here to stay. The product speaks for itself. And I'm excited to see how this changes just the entire QSR world, and to see how it will eventually affect other areas of hospitality, right? Because right now it's about scale. You need many locations for this to work, because once it's trained in the menu, it's a copy paste. You just activate it in as many locations as you want. For independents, different story. For hotels, slightly different story. But the potential is certainly there. So, nice.
What I'll just say now is that this technology is like nothing anyone has ever seen before, and that it's in a state where there's no longer going to be that, oh man, that was a really frustrating call. I really want to talk to a human being. The secret sauce that I can talk about is that we do have an agent in the loop model. So we're never going to force someone to talk to a machine. That's not what hospitality is about. So if you ever want to talk to an agent, you will talk to an agent. That agent will not necessarily be a person who's working at that specific restaurant, but it's a human being that you'll be able to talk to. Our voice AI, closes the overwhelming majority of orders. And then there are inevitably orders that require some light touch up, right? Like processing a credit card or getting that last item in a 20 item group order correct. And then there are other cases where we'll have to do some more heavy lifting and the agent takes care of that. But in any case, the restaurant never has to touch it. And that way it creates a win-win. So the restaurant doesn't need to worry about the labor that they don't have, and the guest gets what they need in terms of accuracy, and that they do have that interaction with a person whenever they want it. And we're going to, voice AI is going to be leaning on that, especially as the adoption begins. And as people become more and more used to the process, then voice AI is going to be able to, just handle more and more of those inquiries. So it's just about that shift and that transition. And at the end of the day, giving guests what they want and what they deserve in the restaurant experience that they're looking for.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Great stuff. Hey, Ben, great conversation. Really enjoyed it. I can't wait to have you on next, and we can talk a little bit more about some of those little teasers that you had mentioned. But appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Cory.
You bet. Take care.